So good. I like the James Harden, Kawhi, John. It's just Bradley Beal. It's just like ugh.
You don't think he's going to buy in to what they're doing? He's a shooter. He's not going to be required to
I would
be a
have to believe
playmaker.
that Bradley Beal actually cares about winning in order for them to believe he would buy in.
Okay. Okay.
I
He's
think that he's
making
at the stage
$5 million
in
a
his
year.
career. He's just probably like, eh.
Let's see here. All right. So, oh yeah. So let's talk about some of the news that's happening currently. Bradley Beal to the Clippers. Your boy. What you call him? What you call him?
Bradley Steele.
Bradley Steele. Bradley Steele. All right. So the Clippers. So Bradley Beal, him, and the Suns were able to come to an agreement on a buyout, and he signed to the Clippers immediately. I don't understand the logic of that. I guess it's because
He wants to
James
play.
Harden.
He likes LA.
Yeah, man. Yeah, LA, and also James Harden. He's a much better facilitator than Devin Booker ever dreamed he could be. So maybe that's why he said, "Hey, you know what? Let me go to the Clippers, LA." James Harden is a great facilitator, even at his age. They'll help me with my game. Tyronn Lue is a great coach. Well, a good coach. I'll just say he's a good coach. I don't know about great anymore. But with the addition of Bradley Beal, here is the depth chart for the Clippers. They have James Harden at 1 at the PG spot. They have Bradley Beal at the shooting guard spot. Kawhi Leonard at the small forward. John Collins at power forward. And Zubac at the center. Looked great on paper. Looks really good on paper. Until you realize that this team is a bunch of unks. They're signing an Avengers level team of 30-plus-year-olds. So, what is your thought on Bradley Beal going to the Clippers?
Bradley Beal. Me personally, I don't believe Bradley Beal is a winning player no matter how much money you give him. How low, how high, I don't think he's a winning player. I don't see a team having Bradley Beal in their starting lineup going to an NBA Finals. I just don't see it. He just folds under pressure. He has bad demeanor and attitude at times. He doesn't play no defense. And you already got James Harden in the lineup, so your best defense is coming from 30-plus-year-old Kawhi Leonard, who has injury troubles. Listen, I like if they would have found, honestly, if you was going to sign back, you could have just kept Norman Powell for all that. At least Norman Powell was very efficient last year, man. Shot nearly 50% from the field. And I don't know, man. I'm not this ain't even me, my Wizards scorning coming out. I just don't like Bradley Beal as a player. I don't really think he'll put up the most impactless 20 points per game you'll ever see. And it's just like, what does he do really better than a CJ McCollum? Not much, I'll tell you that much.
Wow.
So I just don't. I mean, cool. I guess you get I guess that's your Norm Powell replacement. He's probably a little cheaper. I don't know how much that he signed for.
He's probably a lot cheaper, actually.
He's cheaper than Norman Powell, which is a bonus. But I don't know. I just feel like the Clippers are missing something. Still. I like the John Collins acquisition. I think John Collins is a pretty solid player. You see the thing they said they allegedly traded him because he was helping the Jazz win too many games.
I did see that. Yep, I did.
And if that's the case, hey, you got a anti-tank guy on your team. So good. I like the James Harden, Kawhi, John Collins. It's just Bradley Beal. It's just like ugh.
You don't think he's going to buy in to what they're doing? He's a shooter. He's not going to be required to
I would
be
have
a
to believe
playmaker.
that Bradley Beal actually cares about winning in order for them to believe he would buy in.
Okay.
I think he's at the stage in his career. He's just probably like, eh.
He's making $5 million a year, so that's significantly less than what Norman Powell would be making for that team. So they're saving a lot on that front. So this is I think this is a good deal for the Clippers. How much does this raise their ceiling? I don't think it raises it too much because again, these are 30-plus-year-old guys that you're going to have to rely on. And you can't trust Kawhi Leonard's health. James Harden in the playoffs has always dropped a lot in the playoffs. He's always choked in the playoffs. And then Bradley Beal, we saw what he did with the Phoenix Suns. Wasn't all that great. wasn't all that great alongside Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. I do think the him alongside James Harden will help him tremendously. Well, not tremendously, but it will help him a little bit with his game, considering James Harden's more of a facilitator, a more of a true point guard compared to Devin Booker. But at his stage of his career, alongside another guy in Kawhi Leonard and then James Harden, who are also 35 years old, it's hard for me to believe that this team isn't more than a 4 seed, in my opinion. They can get home court advantage, and they could probably win a playoff series, but I don't see them really going farther than that because of their age, health, and a lot of these dudes are out of their prime. James Harden's out of his prime. Kawhi Leonard's out of his prime. Bradley Beal is out of his prime. It just seems like the Clippers are in a panic mode. They're just trying to sell tickets, and they're just trying to milk this Kawhi Leonard experiment, this situation for as many years as possible at this point. I just think they're just throwing shit on the wall and expecting something to work. I don't see this working. I don't see any difference from the Paul George Kawhi Leonard duo, and then you bring in Russell Westbrook. That duo didn't work. You got James Harden now. That it looked cool. For a little bit, it looked cool, and then they played the Nuggets, and Game 7 happened, and James Harden choked yet again. So it looks good on paper. I will admit, it looks good on paper, but we all know with Kawhi Leonard's health and then James Harden's age, when we get into the postseason, if they're a 4th seed and whoever is the 5th seed, if it's the Nuggets, if it's whoever it is that's very competitive, chances are they'll probably lose, or even if they win, they'll lose in the next round. So that's just my thoughts on the situation. I just
Second round exit ceiling.
that's my thoughts on the situation. They'll win a good amount of games, but championship aspirations, I don't see it from this team. I
No,
think that
they're entirely too old.
I think defensively as well, we need to talk about their defense. I like Chris Dunn. Don't get me wrong. Chris Dunn is a good guard defender. He is actually a good guard defender. And Derrick Jones, he's shown to be able, especially in Dallas that one year when they made the NBA Finals, he's shown a level of defensive capability. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard, when he's healthy, he can still defend on a high level, not to the level he was in his prime, but he can still defend when he's healthy. And Zubac, he's a decent interior defender, but I wouldn't want him on the switch all the time. They're not the greatest defensively. I'm not too comfortable with their defense. I think they'll be probably middle of the pack. I don't think they're going to be horrible, but I don't think they're going to be locking people down on a consistent basis. So, and then you have Brook Lopez coming off the bench. He's up there in age, which I guess as a backup big, that's okay, but he's still up there in age. Not all that athletic. Yeah, he can stretch the floor, but you get him on a switch, he's pretty much cooked food. Yeah, Bogdanovich, he's okay, I guess, but yeah, this seems like a second round team to me. Second round, and that's pretty much their ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much their ceiling for me.